Hi shrimps! It's a lovely sunny day today. I thought we'd have a new story because this week we're going to start learning about down in the garden. So our topic this week and for the next few weeks maybe, we'll see how it goes, is going to be down in the garden. And we were learning about down in the jungle, but now down in the garden. And this story is one that we all know. Well, I think we all know. If you don't, you can listen for the first time to this version. Now, we've got lots of versions of this story. It's a traditional tale. That means it's been around for a very long time. And your version at home that you read might be different. Or some people watch it on YouTube and things like that. They are sometimes different. So you can listen to how this one is different. Okay, the title on the front cover of this book is here. I can point to it and I can read it and follow along with my finger. Jack and the Beanstalk. And it's written, so there's two authors for this book, written by Mara Alperin and Mark Chambers. They wrote the story for you to enjoy. Okay, what can we see on the front cover? Have a look at the picture. Wow. Have a good look. Did I hear you say you can see a little boy? Yes, there is a little boy. I wonder if that's Jack. Do you think that's Jack? Yes, me too. Hang on a minute. What do these look like? Oh, wow. They look like ginormous feet. I wonder who they could belong to. If you know the story already, you probably guessed whose feet they could be. Maybe a giant's. Let's have a look. Oh, I can see some green leaves. Maybe they've been growing in the story as well. Okay, so Jack and the Beanstalk. Let's listen to the story. So can you turn your ears on? Make your eyes look and listen, and make your ears listen too. Okay. Oh, look at the pictures on here. What can you see? What do you think they are? They're magic beans. All different pattern magic beans. I can see the title again. Oh, the wind is blowing my book. So I'm holding the book very carefully. You can see the title. Can you read it with me? Jack and the Beanstalk. Well done. Right, so I'm going to find the writing that I start reading. Might move you that way a little bit so you can see the pictures. There we go. Deep in the countryside lived a widow and her son Jack. Their cottage was crumbling and their clothes were patched. They were very, very poor. Oh dear. What does poor mean, children? Poor means they had no money. Well done. They had no money. One day Jack's mother said, "We must sell our cow and take her to market, Jack, and bring home some gold pieces. We need some money." And so he set off to town with the cow. There he goes. So that's Jack's mum, and that's the cow. That's Jack with the cow. Off they go. But before Jack had got very far, he met a strange little man. Can you see the picture? In some versions, there's a little old lady in this story, but this one has a little old man. There he is. "That's a fine cow," the man said. "I will swap you for 5 magic beans for her." "Magic beans?" said Jack. "Are they really magic?" "Magic they are, or chop off my beard and knit it into a jumper," croaked the little old man. Magic beans. Jack couldn't wait to tell his mother. He clutched them tightly and he ran all the way home to his mum. Can you remember, children, what did his mum want him to bring home? Do you think she wanted magic beans Or do you think she wanted some magic gold coins? She wanted some coins, didn't she? She wanted some money. Jack's mother was furious. Can you show me a furious face? That means really cross. We need money, not useless old beans, said his mum. And she threw the beans out of the window. Can you see her in the picture? Oh, she looks furious, doesn't she? She threw them out of the window. Whoosh. You throw yours out the window. Ready, steady, throw. But late that night, a tiny bean sprout poked out from the ground. Can you see the picture there? Wow. So it started as a tiny little sprout, bean sprout, and then it grew, and it grew, and it grew. Look at it, children. It goes so small there, grows out the ground, and then it gets a little bit taller, and a little bit taller, and even taller, and it kept growing and growing. Very tall. The next morning, the beanstalk stretched high into the sky, all the way up there. Wow. The beans were magic, cried Jack. He was so happy. But what's at the top, he thought. What do you think he's going to do next? I think you're right if you said he's going to climb that beanstalk to find out what's at the top of the beanstalk. Jack climbed up and up and up and up the beanstalk. At last he reached the very top of the beanstalk. There, shimmering in the sunlight, was... What do you think it could be? If you know this story already, you could probably guess right. What do you think could be at the top of this beanstalk? Let's have a look, shall we? Wow, what does that look like? Well done if you said castle, you're right. It was a magnificent castle. Just then Jack's stomach rumbled. Why do you think his tummy's rumbling, children? I think you're right. He's hungry. I must find some breakfast, he thought, and he tapped on the castle door. Can you tap on the castle door? The door creaked open. Can you make a creaking sound like it's opening? Ready? That was my creaking sound. And a huge giantess smiled down at Jack like this. Hello, Jack shouted up. Please, do you have any food? You poor thing, boomed the giantess. Children, do you know what a giantess is? A giantess is a lady giant. So if you're a giant and a man, you're called a giant. And if you're a lady giant, you're called a giantess. Okay? Come right in, but quickly before the giant gets up, she said to Jack. She's being very kind, isn't she, letting him in? She must think he's very hungry. What a marvellous feast! There was an enormous loaf of bread and a gigantic jar of jam. Jack tucked in at once. He was so hungry, children. Yum, yum, yum. Can you eat your jam on bread? Ready? That's how fast he ate his, because he was so hungry. But suddenly the room began to shake. Why do you think it's shaking? What's happening next, children? I think you're right. I think the giant must be coming. Oh no! Boom! 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 Oh, goodness me! Cried the giantess. He's coming! And she shoved Jack under a teacup to hide. Can you see in the picture? Oh, poor old Jack, he's got to hide under the teacup. Phew, good job he could. Oh no, look. Who is that, do you think? Which character is that? That's right, the giant has come. Into the room stomped a big, scary, hungry giant.
Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread.
Don't be silly, said the giantess. There's nobody here but us. The giantess said, now go and wash before breakfast. So he's got to go and wash his hands like we do before he has his breakfast. Jack trembled and shook. I must leave now, he thought. This is a bit scary, I think he's thinking. He was halfway down the hall when he heard squawk, squawk. What could be that noise? Can you see in the picture? A bit dark. Squawk, squawk. It was a hen with bright golden feathers. Wow. Help, she clucked. Set me free and I'll lay you golden eggs every morning, she said. Wow. Jack scooped up the hen, but then he heard huge footsteps thundering after them. Boom, boom, boom. Oh no, quick!
Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman.
And there he is, the giant roared. Jack raced out of the door. He jumped. Oh, do you think he's going to get away? Look at the picture. Wow. He jumped and he slid down the beanstalk. So he went down. Whee! And down again. Whee! And down and down and down. All the way back to his cottage. Phew! Mother! Mother! Quick! Bring the axe, he shouted. So he needed an axe. What did he need an axe for, I wonder? That's right, to chop the beanstalk down, to stop that giant from catching him. Jack's mother swung the axe at the beanstalk. It suddenly shuddered and shook, and then the giant came tumbling down. Wow.
Fee, fi, fo.
Crash! And that was the end of the giant. Jack hugged his mother so tightly. Look what I found, he said, and he showed his mum the golden hen. Oh, Jack, said his mum, I'm so glad you're safe, and you were right about those magic beans after all. So Jack and his mother, can you see them in the picture? Just about. Jack and his mother and the golden hen all lived happily ever after, with lots of golden eggs. They were never poor again. And that's the end. You can actually see in this picture there are lots of little golden eggs and they're tumbling down the side. Looks like they've got a nice big new house to live in and all nice things now thanks to the golden hen. The end. And there are the magic beans. Oh, children, did you enjoy that story? A little bit different. Didn't have an old lady in it. It had an old man. It had a giantess in it. Sometimes it just has a little old lady at the door, and she's the one who lives with the giant. But this time it was a giantess and a giant. That was a lovely story. Now I think this week I'm going to be very busy. Let me just show you. I'm going to be very busy because I have got some runner beans to plant. Can you see them? Here's my runner bean packet and it tells me how to plant them, what I need to do. Let's have a look what they look like. Do they look like these magic beans? Let's have a look. Oh, it's very exciting. Let's tear it at the top. Runner beans. Like to eat those, do you? Ooh. Got a little packet inside. Another packet to get them out of. Oh, wow! Children, there is my bean. Can you see it? It's sort of speckled. It's an orangey colour with black speckled pattern on it. Quite hard to see. Put it in the sunlight. So I'm going to plant that. What am I going to plant it in, I wonder? I'm going to plant it in a plant pot. But maybe I'll make another video about that. Okay, so children, I'm going to put this very safe. I'm going to go and find some compost because the compost is like the food for the bean to eat. I'm going to find my watering can because, of course, things won't grow without a bit of water. If they're in the garden, sometimes we have rain and that helps them to grow as well. And the other thing they need is sunlight. And we've certainly got that today. So I might go off and find some planting things and make another video for you. And you can watch me do some planting. But see if you can find a story at home with Jack and the Beanstalk if you've got one. Or watch it on YouTube as well. See if it's the same as mine. What happened at the beginning? Talk to your family about what happened at the beginning. What happened in the middle of the story? What happened at the end? Okay? So that's what you can talk to with your family at home. Talk about the characters. Who were the people in this story? Or what animals? Where was it set? So where did it happen? And what happened? Yep. So where, who, and what happened? Those are the questions as well. So that is our story for the week. But we've got another story which I'll read on another video. And we shall see that soon. And there's a song to go with the next one. And that's about growing beanstalks as well. But it's got a little animal in it. Have a little think if you know a story about a beanstalk and an animal. Okay, right, I'll see you very soon now. I'm going to go and find my compost and do a bit of planting. And I will show you perhaps in another video. Okay, bye-bye shrimp. See you soon.